Today, we're going to talk about accelerating your lead flow via Google Ads for roofing, specifically for roofing contractors, right? So, over the next hour or so, we're going to be, providing you with some information that can really change your business. And so if you could please, dedicate your full attention, turn off your cell phone, turn off your Facebook. If you're really looking to take your roofing business seriously and get serious about delivering better results, better lead flow for your company, then the next 60 minutes will definitely be well worth your time. So today we're going to cover why pay-per-click is the key to unlimited scalability in terms of lead flow from your roofing business. We're going to go through some live examples. We're going to talk really in depth about how to set up and structure your pay-per-click campaigns to maximize cost per lead and maximize your return on investment. Cost per lead and ROI are two different things, right? So we want to make sure we're maximizing that ROI. We're also going to talk about key performance indicators, what to be looking for, and how to track your Google Ads campaigns. Best practices for landing pages and campaign structure. And if you stay to the end here, we're going to give you, my graphic artist is hilarious, right? With the survivor. If you stay to the end, we're going to give you our master negative keyword list. And we're going to talk about why that master negative keyword list is one of the most important things in a Google Ads campaign. So if you don't know me, I see a couple of you on here. Paul, how's it going? Eric, Evan, Joe. For those of you that do know me, thanks for tuning back in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jim Aline. I'm the co-founder of Roofer Marketers. I'm the co-author of 2 books on internet marketing for roofing contractors. The first titled Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors. The second, our most recent release, was The Best Known Roofer, and that's the omnipresent marketing framework for your roofing business. I speak at industry events on these subjects. We're a certified Google partner. I'm also the host of the Roofing Success podcast. We're part of the National Roofing Contractors Association. And this is what we do, right? My business partner and I founded this agency over 3 years ago. We've been working with roofing companies for over 5-6 years now. And this is what we do on a day-to-day basis, right? We work on digital marketing for roofing companies. This webinar is part of our Omnipresence marketing series. It's an ongoing series on a monthly basis. So if please tune in and look for these on an ongoing basis. This is about Google Ads. We recently had one around SEO, others around the Google local service ads, others around, we'll be having one, I think the next one might be on Google My Business listings and optimizing those. So this is part of an ongoing series. And really what we believe and what we wrote about in our book, The Best Known Roofer, is that there are really 3 principles to our omnipresence marketing system. The first of those principles is to maximize the opportunity to generate a lead for your roofing company online and offline also, but for our specific purposes, online. And that's done through being involved in Google local service ads, running pay-per-click campaigns, Google Ads campaigns, optimizing your Google My Business listing, optimizing your website for search, also running Google retargeting ads through the Google Ads network, which we'll talk about a bit here. And beyond that, using your social media, organic social media posting, your paid social media advertising, all of those things create the opportunity to generate a lead for your roofing business. The next thing we also believe in, though, our second principle, is to maximize your brand impressions to your perfect customer. This is done more on the social media side and through the Google Display Network for our purposes. And that's because when someone is looking for a roofing company, the first place they go is to their mental Rolodex. And if you have maximized your brand impressions to that perfect customer, they're going to think of you first, right? When making that phone call. So that's a very key component to the overall strategy, is to maximize those brand impressions, to become the best known roofer. And the third part of it is to maximize conversion rates. And that could be to maximize the conversion rate of a Google Ads campaign, a search ads campaign, to maximize the conversion rate of a Facebook ads campaign, to maximize the conversion rate on your website, from the visitors to phone calls. So all types of optimization around your conversions. But today we're talking about Google Ads, right? And so should pay-per-click, if you guys could drop in chat for me, I like talking a lot and talking about this stuff, but it's nice to get some interaction. So if you could drop into chat what you think, if you think Google pay-per-click should be part of an overall digital marketing strategy. Drop a 1 in the chat if you believe that. Drop a 2 in the chat if you're like, I don't think so. That's not I don't think pay-per-click is a good strategy. Eric says 1. Come on, guys, we need some interaction here, so I'm not just talking out into the internet. Thanks, Evan. And 1 also. I mean, you guys are right. It's correct, right? It's pay-per-click should be part of your overall strategy. Along with that, though, I don't believe that pay-per-click should be your only strategy, right? And we'll talk a little bit about why. So why pay-per-click should be part of your overall marketing strategy is that you can show up quickly, right? Google will take your money anytime. They're happy to charge you for that cost per click, right? You can also show up as often as possible where your customers are looking. So I had mentioned that, people go to their mental Rolodex first, but the second place they go most likely is to Google, right? So that's an awesome place to be showing up. And if you haven't really gotten your Google, your search engine optimization, in place and performing well, this allows you to get on that front page of Google without all of the work that goes into search engine optimization. It also allows you to get into areas that maybe your search engine optimization doesn't cover. So, an example would be our a company that we work with here in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area where we're in, the Twin Cities. It's a pretty big area geographically. And so if you are on the west side of town, say in Minnetonka, and your business is listed there, and you're showing up in the maps there, you may not show up in Cottage Grove, right? On the west or on the very east side of the city. So you can use Google pay-per-click to fill in those gaps that are just not possible to meet with an SEO strategy. You can show up for non-geographically modified terms: roofer, roofing company, roof repair, roof replacement. All of these are extremely valuable terms. They're what we call bottom of funnel terms. They're in the bottom of the funnel and they have a lot of commercial intent. These are what people are typing in when they're looking to make a phone call. And there really is unlimited scalability in this, depending on your budgets and how you work within your budgets. The first thing that we'll talk about is why most pay-per-click campaigns fail. We'll start with the failures, right? The first failure is a failure to understand the AdWords auction process and the complexity of the roofing industry. The next thing is why a lot of campaigns fail is they only set up like one ad group for all of your services, right? And just combine everything into one mashup. Other reasons that campaigns fail is not creating congruency between the ad copy, the landing page, and the keyword that the person typed in, whatever they typed into Google. Another thing that could really result in failure is not having a strong call to action or a strong offer on the landing page. So the first thing we'll talk about is or kind of around landing pages. So around these landing pages, why most campaigns fail is sending traffic to the homepage of your website. And this goes back to a couple of the reasons that they fail too. So having one ad group and just everything jumbled into one kind of campaign and ad group, you won't be able to serve ads that are relevant to that searcher. And then if you don't have those relevant ads that are relevant to the ad copy that's relevant to the searcher, then you're probably sending them like to your homepage, which is a very general representation of your company. And it's not very specific to what the person typed in. So if somebody types in metal roofing companies near me, right? You want the ad copy that gets served to that customer, to that searcher, to talk about metal roofing. And then you want that, if they click on that ad, you want that to go to a landing page that talks about metal roofing and why you're a great metal roofing contractor, and also why maybe a specific offer in relation to your metal roofing services. Not to the homepage of your website, right? So they type in metal roofing companies near me, they click on your ad, and then they end up on your homepage, which has information about, asphalt shingle, your residential, commercial, all of the different things that you do. But this person was looking for information about metal roofing. So that's a big, big issue in why most campaigns fail. You have to create that congruency across the board, all the way from the time they type in their keywords, the search terms that they typed in, all the way through the experience through the landing page. So let's talk about some examples of how some of our customers and clients are using pay-per-click to be an integral part of their strategies. So first we'll talk a little bit about the cost of Google pay-per-click. So this is our Google Ads management portal. From the first of the year until today, you can see that we've managed so this year so far about $442,000 of ad spend. Thousands of conversions, millions of impressions through the Google Display Network and things like that. And the average cost per lead is about $199. That's across all of the accounts that we manage. And so, really the cost of Google Ads is going to be more expensive than, say, long-term on, say, an SEO, your Google My Business listing, things like that, Google local service ads. That's why we want to have it be part of your overall strategy, right? So with an average cost of say, $200, now let's look at some real examples. This is a company that we've been working with for a year and a half now. Next Gen Roofing out of Massachusetts. And you can see that this is all of their leads and their lifetime lead cost over time. And that's between their Google Organic, their Google My Business, their Facebook ads, all of these different channels. So almost 10% of their leads come from Google Ads, right? But like we were saying, as I was mentioning in the last slide, Google Ads are more expensive, right? So the lifetime lead cost for them is $71.41, but their pay-per-click cost is going to be much more than that, right? So we want to make sure that it's not the only thing that you're doing, right? It's part of. So for this company, 6.4% of their leads over time have come from search ads, 2.7 from an ad extension, we'll talk about that, and 0.7 from the map extension, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. Here's another example. This is a company out of the kind of Lake County, Chicago area, Citrix Roofing. 9.3% of their leads came from Google Ads, 6.9 from search, 1.8 from an ad extension, and 0.6 from the map extension. Again, part of the overall strategy, right? Part of. This is a company in the Seattle area, Puget Sound area, Port Orchard Roofing. They're about 14.2% of their calls have come from Google Ads, 11.4 from search ads, 2.8 from their ad extensions. Another example is APAL Roofing out of Raleigh. This is their Raleigh location specifically. About 19% of their leads come from Google Ads. So depending on what you're trying to do, you may need more push into the ads, into the paid ad side of things versus the organic side of things. So, about 13, almost 14% from search ads, almost 5% from their ad extension. Another company here is Trademark Roofing down in Cape Coral, Florida. Again, this is a company that puts more emphasis on their pay-per-click. They want to really drive those calls. 19.4% of their calls are coming from Google Ads, 12.4 from search ads, 5.5 from the ad extension, and 0.5% from the map extension. So, with all of that said, I just want to emphasize that this is a part of your overall strategy, but it's an integral part because it can really boost your business, and you can really get targeted on who you want making that phone call to your business. So the lead cost may be higher, but the quality of the lead can also be higher if you structure things properly. And so in structuring your pay-per-click campaigns properly, you want to start the basis of everything is that conversion tracking, right? So you could see on the dashboards that I was showing you that we're tracking this down on a granular level. And your campaigns must be broken down into smaller ad groups targeting the various services that you provide. So that your text ads, like I was saying, match what the person typed in. You want to make sure you have a strong understanding of keyword match types. We'll go through that. And the negative keywords are sometimes more important than the keywords that you're bidding on. So you have to write compelling ad text. You have to leverage ad extensions to make your ads stand out. And you have to land visitors on a solid, well thought out landing page, right? And then on an ongoing basis, you're always split testing, tweaking, fine tuning. There's no end. There's no set it and forget it for a Google Ads campaign. So the first thing is, don't even think about spending another penny until you have conversion tracking in place, right? The essentials of conversion tracking are having dynamic number swapping with different phone numbers for pay-per-click versus organic direct traffic. So anytime someone lands on your landing page, you're gonna have specific numbers that are in a pool that are for those ad campaigns. In doing so, you're gonna be able to track that phone call. Without being able to track that phone call, you can set up conversions in Google Ads of maybe someone that got to a thank you page or things like that if they filled out a form. But tracking those phone calls, that will give you the exact real number. A lot of times companies will set up, AdWords management companies will set up like really strange conversions, right? A conversion to you as a roofing business owner is a lead, right? It's having a person who's looking for the services that you provide on the phone, right? Giving you the opportunity to set that inspection, to set that home visit. So when these are set up properly and you have the right phone number tracking, now you know exactly where that's coming from. So you can also have a pool of numbers so that you're tracking it down to the exact keyword in the campaign. Having web form tracking, right? So when someone fills out that form, that gets tracked. So conversion tracking is probably the most essential thing that you can have in your campaign. It starts with that, right? And you want to know where and which ad group and which keywords that are generating the most profit for your business, right? The best return on ad spend. So the most important KPIs, right, is your total spend, your landing page conversion rate, your average cost per lead, which we find is between $150 and $300, depending on the service area you're in. Could be higher in some markets, you could get it down into the 100 range sometimes, but that's for a real person on the phone, is what we're talking about there also. You want to be tracking your return on investment. So if you're using a CRM, you're tracking it from your call tracking all the way into your CRM. You're matching those calls to the leads in your CRM, and you're making sure that you're tracking it down on a granular level. So let's talk about total spend, right? Your total spend. I get a lot of questions in Google Ads and pay-per-click about what is the least I can spend, right, and make this work for me. It's what should I do on the minimum side? Google Ads doesn't perform well on the minimum side. It's kind of like, I don't know how many storm damage companies we have on here. I know Rachel's on here. They're more retail. Put a 1 in the chat if you do storm damage restoration, right? In storm damage restoration, a lot of times there's a lot of door knocking involved, right? And that's where this example comes in. So if you were out knocking doors, would you knock on every 10th door? Of course, the answer is no, right? The answer is no, because you don't know which door is the yes, right? So having the least budget possible is essentially like knocking on every 10th door. In the Google auction process, it only allows you to show up in a certain amount of searches. So what we want to do is knock on as many doors as possible, which is show up in as many searches as possible, which will allow us to get enough clicks to our landing page. And we'll talk about landing page conversion rate, enough clicks to our landing page to generate enough phone calls to sustain a consistent lead flow there. And so when we're talking about your total spend, you have to have a good budget for pay-per-click, right? And when I talk about, a good budget to some people, that's a variable word, right? It's very different from company to company, and what you can afford at your current revenue level, right? But I would say in most markets, you need at the very minimum, $2,500 to really kind of have enough search volume, show up in enough searches. But I'd rather see you in the $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 range, which really allows you to knock on every door because you don't know where the yes is, right? Rachel said, conversion numbers are still confusing. This is where our campaign is failing, the tracking. Yeah, we'll definitely dive into that more, Rachel. We'll go into more on the tracking side. So the first thing we're looking at is total spend. The next thing we're looking at is landing page conversion rate. This is so important, right? I said all of the traffic needs to go to a landing page. So what a landing page conversion rate is, how many clicks did it take to get a phone call or a form submission from your landing page? So if 5 people clicked on your ad and 1 person converted into a phone call or a form submission, you would have a 20% landing page conversion rate. This is going to vary, right? It's always going to vary. It's going to vary from month to month. It's going to vary from ad group to ad group, from keyword to keyword. But our goal as a company, as someone who's very dialed in and specific to the roofing industry, our goal is a minimum of 15% landing page conversion rate. We'd like to be more in that 20 to 25% range. Kind of on a very broad level, across Google Ads, an 8% conversion rate is, if you Google good landing page conversion rate, you're kind of in that 8% range. But because we can really dial in to the industry and what's really working, and because of the amount of ad spend that we manage on a yearly basis, we like to shoot more for that 20-25% range. And that's where you get that average cost per lead in that $150 to $300 range. because the cost per click on roofing it's expensive. I mean, on a low cost per click, on a good quality bottom of funnel keyword with high commercial intent, you're looking at 25, 50, up to $125 in, the DFW or Denver area markets. So you have to have the budget to get a return on investment there. So, it's best to have a dashboard. So Rachel, do you have a dashboard? How are you tracking these? How are you tracking your conversion rates? Do you have call tracking first? Let's answer that, Rachel. Do you have call tracking set up? And then are you tracking these in some sort of dashboard, even if it's just a Google sheet or an Excel spreadsheet or something like that? Like really, it's more time consuming that way, but it works. But even beyond that, if you can track true ROI, right? So if you could track it back into AccuLinks or Job Nimbus or Job Progress or whatever you're using in your CRM, if you could track those leads right back to that CRM and actually looking at what's closing, over time, because we know that, you may not, it may take a month, it may take 6 months to close that job. And determine where the real true ROI is coming from, but tracking that over time is the most important thing. So your return on investment is always what you're looking for out of your marketing dollars. So let's talk about how to structure your pay-per-click campaigns. So you're going to have campaigns. And then inside of campaigns, you're going to have ad groups. And inside of ad groups are keywords that you're bidding on. And so you're going to have different campaigns, mainly around, say, a general roofing terms. You're going to have campaign around an ad group or campaign around an ad group around roofing company, roofing contractor. That's a different thing, right? Roofing service, roofing services, roofing quotes, estimates, installation. Those are different things. Different ways that people type these words into Google. There's also, you could build out campaigns around specific material types, right? Metal roofing, tile roofing, cedar roofs, flat roofs, commercial versus residential. Those are different things, different keywords that you would bid on in those processes. Roof repair versus roof replacement, right? Different things. So you can't have these things all jumbled together. And then you can have modifiers, right? Local, near me, you can have geographic modifiers, right? Roofing company, Cape Coral, right? Roofing service, Minnesota, right? City, state. You probably don't want to go as broad as statewide unless you're in like Rhode Island or something like that. If you're in Texas, you probably don't want to show up for best roofing company, Texas. That's a very broad search, right? You'd want to be, best roofing company, Louisville, Texas, right? And bidding on those types of keywords. And then, you want to have specific ads for each of those ad groups, right? So here's an example of different ad groups. This one has an asphalt shingle, commercial, general, hail damage, local, single keyword ad groups, Minneapolis, residential roofing, roof replacement. So in each of these ad groups, there's different ads and landing pages. And so for each ad group, like I said, let's say in your commercial ad group, you're going to have ads that say, the best commercial roofing company. But in your residential roofing ad group, when someone types in residential roofing company near me, you don't want it to say commercial roofing company, right? You want to have the congruency between the ad copy and the ad text. So that's one of the things you want to make sure you're having is your ads match up that way. Now we're going to talk about how keyword types matter, right? Match types. Google, when we're entering the keywords that we're bidding on in Google, Google is asking us to define how much leeway we want to give Google with that keyword. The most leeway is called broad match. The next most, many of you may have heard of modified broad match. Modified broad match got phased out in February. That's why I have a big X on it now. The next is tightening up that search is phrase match. Phrase match took over some of the characteristics of modified broad match, and they kind of merged those two together, but now it's called phrase match. And then there's exact match. An exact match is more around, hey, this is exactly what I want the user to type in, or a close variant to that, and I'll talk about that close variant, to serve my ad to them. So broad match, let Google have a lot of leeway on what you're doing. Phrase match, less leeway. Exact match, the least amount of leeway. So in broad match, let's just talk about maybe the search term roofing company, right? If you have a broad match for roofing company, your ad, could be triggered for things like best roofing business, tile roof replacement, roofing companies in Florida, and just many other searches. Maybe even like it could be for roofer, but you're bidding on roofing company. It could be for gutter repair. If Google feels that gutter repair is similar to roofing, it'll show you for gutter repair. So that's why we want to stay away from these broad match searches in most instances. Phrase match is narrowing that focus. So let's use roofing company again as the phrase match. So with phrase match, roofing company, your ad will not show up for something like roof replacement or tile roof replacement, right? Because it's a phrase match, roofing company. So really what it's saying to Google is, we want these words in this order with stuff on the front or back of that. So it would be triggered for roofing company in Minneapolis, right? Because we bid on roofing company and it's allowing those words on the front or back. But it could also, be, best roofing companies instead of roofing company. The close variants are like companies, right? But it could also show up maybe for roofers, best roofers, because Google knows roofing company and roofer is a very similar close variant. In exact match, we're talking about really much more close variants. So these are the more exact words that you're bidding on. And in roofing company, it will only be triggered when someone types in roofing company, roofing companies, but it won't show up for, say, metal roofing company, right? Because it's not a phrase match. But it may show up for, roofer again, like these close variants, whatever Google thinks are close variants. And so now when we think about this is where negative keywords really come into play. With exact match, you're going to need the least amount of negative keywords. With phrase match, you're going to need a broader keyword list. With broad match, you're going to have an extensive negative keyword list. So in each of these, it's going to be a little bit differently. So let's talk about phrase match. Phrase match in the roofing industry is the most challenging. The most challenging part, let me rephrase that. The most challenging part of phrase match with negative keywords for roofing is that everybody is called something roofing company, right? And so now, you have, integrity roofing company. So you're bidding on a phrase match roofing company, right? And it's Integrity Roofing Company and Apex Roofing Company and Next Gen Roofing Company, right? And APAL Roofing Company. And so one of the biggest things, especially in phrase match, is to really do an extensive search on the company names in your area and add those to the negative keyword list. There is a strategy, right? There is a strategy about bidding on your other, competitors' names. I'm not a big fan of that, because if I am calling, Mr. Roof, if I type in Mr. Roof, Raleigh, I'm not trying to call APAL Roofing in Raleigh, right? I'm calling Mr. Roof for a reason. I'm typing in their name specifically for a reason. You may want to, have a strategy where you're bidding on those competitor keyword names and you're trying to convince them to let you come out and do an inspection or an estimate in lieu of that other company. But I think your conversion rates are pretty low on that, right? So other things to pay attention to with the negative keyword list: jobs, right? Roofing jobs, right? Roofing careers, car, truck, RV, RV roof repair, right? BMW roof repair, all of these things are part of it, right? Different roofing associations, supplies. I just went through I audited a campaign or an AdWords account yesterday, and what we look at is what Google is showing your ads for, what search terms your ads are appearing for, and what people are clicking on, and which means what you're paying for, and where you're getting your conversions from. And I was looking through this campaign, and it had 0 negative keywords. And I was like, well, this is going to be ugly. And so going through this, I found Hampton Red Roof Inn, Colorado Springs Inn, right? The biggest joke, if you know roofing pay-per-click and you go into a campaign and anything saying red roof is showing up because of Red Roof Inn, amateur job, right from the start. The other things that this company was getting clicked on was ABC Supply, right? ABC Roof Supply, ABC Supply, ABC Supply, so negative keyword out, ABC, negative keyword out, beacon, right? Supply, store, all of these types of things. Also, the way that Google works geographically, you're setting up a location that you want people to your ads to show in. So let's say that's Colorado Springs, Colorado, right? So you have all of the area locations specifically set, and you're using phrase match roofing company, which is a good phrase match term to use. And somebody types in roofing companies, Naples, Florida, because they have a condo down in, or maybe not a condo, but they have a vacation home down in Naples, right? And so they're not looking for a roofing company in Colorado Springs. They're looking for a roofing company outside of that area. So you want a negative keyword out. You're never going to get them all, right? You're never going to get every city, but put in all of the major cities, all of the states, negative keyword out, how, what, where, why, those informational type keywords. Competitor names are the biggest, man, in roofing. You will waste a lot of budget on competitor names. If you, even with a properly structured campaign with phrase match and exact match keywords, having a real tight circle on that, you will waste a lot of money on competitor names. And again, you're not going to get them all, right? So you go in, you search Home Advisor, you search Angie's List, you search the map section, you search Yellow Pages, and you just develop the largest list possible that you can. And then, but you and I know there's always someone else, right? There's always another company. So on an ongoing basis, if you see yourself showing up, if you got an impression for that specific for someone, another company's keyword name or name, you just negative keyword that out. So that was pretty detailed, but let's move on. So now you need to write compelling ad text, right? So less is more. There's limited space, limited characters in the Google display ads. So you want to tell them exactly what you want to do. You have to, show your offer or present your offer. Make them have one decision, right? Call us, click here. Don't give them too many options. You want them to go straight to your site. So some of the best performing text ads, some examples of stuff that we run, free roof estimate, Minneapolis. It's very specific of what we want, what they're looking for. Here, we'll give you a free roof. We have an offer of $2,500 off. And now we're using all of the site extensions and different extra extensions that we can use to take up more ad space. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the main thing is to have congruency, right? So the congruency, if someone types in roofing company, roof estimates Minneapolis, they're going to get an ad that says free roof estimate Minneapolis. But if they type in roofing company, they're not going to, it's going to say #1 roofing company, right? Or top local roofing company, right? It's not going to talk about a roof estimate because they typed in something different. Make sure you have that congruency. Make sure you're using all of the opportunities, right? Our first core principle is to maximize the opportunities. So there are different places that your ads can show through Google Ads. So the first place, of course, is through Google search ads above the map section, below the local service ads. The next place is it's not always, but on some searches, your ad will show up in the Google Map Pack. So most of the time, there are 3 companies listed in the Google Map Packs. You can force yourself to be a 4th company listed in the Google Map Pack. And that is through the location extension and enabling the location extension in your Google Ads. The other place, when a lot of people, 35% of people will go to the 3-pack there, the local map pack. About 35% of people will go there. But if they don't find someone that they like there, right? If the companies there don't have great reviews, things like that, they're going to click on view more companies. And that's going to bring them over to the map. And it's going to have more companies. And if you have an ad running through the location extension also, there you have another opportunity. So make sure that you're using all of the extensions that you can. Make your ads pop with call-out extensions, right? There's call-out extensions, site link extensions, call extensions, location extensions. You want to use these very specifically in your ads. One of the things that it does is it takes up more room on the page, right? So your ad stands out a lot more, but it gives extra opportunities to create a conversion. So these are all set in the Google Ads dashboard through your ad extensions. So you can set up all these different types of extensions on there. And then we want to keep that congruency going to the landing page, right? So if somebody typed in roofing company San Antonio, the ad maybe says best roofing company San Antonio, lifetime workmanship warranty would be the offer. And they click on that ad. And then they come to the landing page. And then the landing page also says San Antonio Roofing Company, right? San Antonio's trusted roofing company. Proud to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. So if you were doing for example, a money off, $2,500 off, it would say up to $2,500 off, right? So you're creating that congruency between your ad, what they typed into Google, the ad, and the landing page. The other things that you're doing on your landing page is you're building trust, right? So showing some of your reviews, showing, you know, if you're GAF Master Elite or Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, or what, you know, if you're part of the NRCA or part of a local chamber of commerce, or, you know, this company does work for Habitat, and, you know, so all of these different things, anything that you could do to continue to build trust. Down further on the landing page, you may speak to more to the fears of the consumer. Do you leave job sites squeaky clean? You know, do you have good warranties? Do you have financing options? All of those types of things speak to the fears of the consumer. And then we're giving them the option to do what we want them to do, and that is make a phone call or submit a form on our website, right? That's what we want them to do. Call us, right? So giving them an easy opportunity to do that. And so it's pretty simple, but if you think about it that simply, right? Create congruency between the ad, what they typed in, the ad copy, and the landing page. That's why, you know, when you look at the best landing page conversion rates, or what a great conversion rate is, you're looking at 8%, you know, across all kind of, you know, very general across. But when you get this specific is when you can get into those 20-25% conversion rates on those landing pages. In some cases, you might get up to like a 40% landing page conversion rate. You know, in others, you're down in that 15 range, maybe even in the 10s on a bad month, right? You know, but you're knocking on every door. You're getting, you know, you're continuing to build that up. On top of all of this, right? On top of all of this, that's the Google search side of things. But we're talking about Google Ads and how to best utilize Google Ads. Now we're going to take all of that traffic that came through here, and we're going to pixel them, right? We're dropping a cookie on them. Any traffic that comes through these ads, any traffic that comes through your website, now we're going to use the Google Display Network for retargeting, remarketing ads. So now they go and check the weather. First, they clicked on your ad. Now they go and check the weather. There's an ad for your company. They go and check the scores. There's an ad for your company. There are millions of websites, hundreds of thousands, millions of websites out there that use the Google Display Network as a monetization of their website, blogs, apps, YouTube, right? Not in-stream ads on YouTube, but there's ads that appear on the side of the page when you're looking, right? So this is part of the Google Display Network. So now someone searched for your company, you know, metal roofers near me. They clicked on your metal roofing ad. They hit your landing page. Maybe they didn't convert. Now you're getting back in front of them, 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 building those brand impressions to increase the conversion rate over time. And I mean, these show up all over, and that keeps you top of mind. Even if they did reach out to you, now they see you everywhere, right? It creates a psychological impact. There's a psychological impact on the buyer because of that, right? It's like, you know, it's like when you buy a new car and you buy a new truck and you drive down, I'm like, man, I see this thing. I see this everywhere. It, like, until it's in front of you, that's when it starts to make that impact. So using the Google Display Network for retargeting. So let's kind of recap everything, right? Conversion tracking is a must. Your campaign must be broken down into smaller ad groups targeting the various services that you provide so that you can create congruency between what the user typed in and your ads, right? Then you have to have a strong understanding of your keyword match types and how to use negative keywords to make sure that you're getting the clicks that you want, the impressions and the clicks that you want. You don't want red roof in. You don't want your competitors, a click for your competitor's name. You need to write compelling text ads that resonate with the customer, entice them to click on your ad versus the competition. Leverage ad extensions and site links to make your ad stand out, and have your visitors land on a solid, well thought out page. that's built to convert, and then retarget those people over and over and over again until they call you. So let's talk about some takeaways. What did you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share? Drop something in the chat. What was impactful in this conversation for you? And see if we can, if you have a question, drop it in there too. We could talk about some questions. Passive listeners today, huh? All right, so drop something in the chat, but we'll move on and keep talking here. So I don't recommend doing pay-per-click yourself, and not because I'm biased as an agency owner and that I think you should use an agency, but there's a lot of details to it, right? These were the basics, right? These were the basics. There's different ways of optimizing your bids. There's all of Google's automated bidding strategies. There's manual bidding strategies that you can use, and you have to know when to use. You can make bid adjustments based on a multitude of factors. A bid adjustment, say you want to bid 25% more per click on mobile, right? Or Google has something called in-market audiences, right? So Google knows that people are in market for something, in market for home improvements or something like that. You can make bid adjustments for those. There's so many things on a granular level that it's a lot, right? So the questions to ask your pay-per-click providers is, the first one is, how much of my budget will go to AdWords spent versus management fees? Make sure that your pay-per-click provider is clear on this, right? There are companies out there that will say, just give us $3,000 a month, but they don't tell you how much of that goes to AdWords and how much of that goes to them. Right? So you want to have a clear understanding between that. You want to find out what kind of tracking that will be put in place. Do you have a Google ad? Are they tracking the calls and web forms? How will they track your key performance indicators? Will you be provided reporting on a monthly basis, right? And what that key metric is that average cost per lead generated. So you can really monitor that and pull that back to your conversions, to your actual sales, and develop your customer acquisition cost through that channel. Do they test ads, right? Do they split test things? We always have 2 to 3 ads running at all times that Google is choosing from, and we're scaling the ones that perform and we're cutting out the ones that don't perform, but we're always split testing. Asking them if they're leveraging ad extensions. Are you going to show up, and are they using that location extension, right? Are they making your ad show up in as many places as possible to impact those opportunities that you have? What are their targets in terms of cost per lead, return on investment? What we feel makes our campaigns different is we're always split testing campaigns. We've managed millions of dollars in the roofing industry, so we really have a lot of the work has been done, but there's always work to continue to be doing, right? We're always we set up conversion optimized landing pages. We set up true conversion optimization so that your conversions get tracked properly. You'll know exactly where the calls came from, how they came in, what the person typed in to what the call, what was. And that makes it really possible for us to optimize based on that. But what we also ask back to make our campaigns even better is the actual sales data from your company. So for each ad group, we set up multiple text ads. We rotate them to see which ads convert the best. We provide you with a KPI dashboard to help you track all these things, and we have complete transparency in that ad spend. We're a Google partner, right? That means that Google has certified us based on the amount of ad spend that we manage and the performance of that ad spend. We create mini sites of landing pages. We don't just send traffic to the homepage of your website. Each ad group, is going to have a landing page that is very relevant to that ad group. We have separately configured landing pages for desktop and mobile so that people see a different thing. It's, a lot of people will search from their phones. We use multi-step forms, contact forms, which, we found to increase conversion rates about 300%. All of our forms are set up with automated call technology, so you never miss a lead. So when someone submits a form, when we're, through one of our landing pages, it generates a phone call to your business. When you answer the phone, it says, you have a new web form lead, press 1 to connect. You press 1, it does an outbound dial to the number that they put on the form. And if they answer, they may not answer, they may be at work and they're, Googling when they're not supposed to. But if they answer, you're on the phone with them in 20 seconds, right? Maybe less than 20 seconds, depending. And so in that process, that's part of that maximizing the conversion rates of all of these things. So like I showed you before, our KPI dashboard breaks down everything. This is the one page of a, I think it's like an 8 or 10 page report that goes out to you, breaking down each thing into more detail. And for the people that did stay, the survivors, as my funny graphic artist put in there, if Nikki could drop the link in the chat, roofermarketers.com/master-negative list. This is this is the starting point for you on those negative keywords. You'll have to continue to build on that over time, of course, but it's going to give you the best starting point, right? It's going to give you a great starting point. So also, if you don't listen, tune into the Roofing Success podcast. It's a show created to optimize the success of roofing contractors. And this is where I interview successful roofing companies, successful roofing company owners, experts to the industry, all to provide value to you to increase to increase the trajectory of your success in your business. If there's any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat right now. We're coming up on that hour, so we'll be respectful of people's times. If you'd like to speak with us about what we can do to help your company, call us directly, 855-799-1252, or go to roofermarketers.com and schedule a call with us. Feel free to drop a question in the chat if you have anything. I'll stick around here for a couple of minutes. Thank you guys for attending. Appreciate the time that you spent with us today. And let me know if anyone has any questions. We'll be here.